And with that, viewers, we're now going to proceed. Now, student protests erupted across Tehran and Isfahan universities as demonstrators voiced anger over rising prices and declining living standards. The unrest follows recent demonstrations by shopkeepers in Tehran's Grand Bazaar, who shuttered their stores for the second day amid record low currency values. The Iranian Rial has fallen sharply against the dollar and euro, worsening inflation and economic hardship. President Masoud Pezeshkian and government officials have acknowledged the protests, pledging dialogue with demonstrators and promising reforms to stabilize the monetary system. Iran's parliamentary speaker, Baghir Khalifa, stated that the people's concerns must be addressed.
که دغدغه و اعتراض مردم در خصوص مشکلات معیشتی باید با مسئولیت پذیری کامل پاسخ داده شود و گفتگو به ویژه با نمایندگان اصناف و اتخاذ اقدامات لازم با محوریت افزایش قدرت خرید مردم و اصلاح روند تصمیم گیری های اقتصادی در دستور کار مسئولان اجرایی قرار گیرد.
The unrest adds to a pattern of repeated protests over the past few years, highlighting public frustration with economic pressure, sanctions and currency volatility. Authorities have previously suppressed similar demonstrations with crackdowns, but the government now says it will listen to protesters' legitimate demands. Shaul Satka, who is a political commentator, joins me now live from Tel Aviv. Thanks, Shaul, for joining me. How do you see these protests now escalating?
It's too early to tell at this stage. We've had a number of waves of protests in Iran over the past 5 to 10 years. And in general, put down with alacrity by the Iranian regime, who have been in power there since 1979. Whether this round of protests is what finally pushes the regime out, seeing as they really weakened over the past year with the loss of all their proxies from Hezbollah to Hamas to the Houthis. Proxies that they essentially bankrupted their nation to supply. They also lost their ballistic missile program and most of their nuclear program as well in June. All that has been their primary goal over the past few years, the past decades in fact. And that's all gone. It was all for nothing. They bankrupted their economy for nothing. In 1979, when the Islamic regime took power, if you wanted to buy an ounce of gold, you had to pay 15,000 Rial. Today, to buy 1 ounce of gold, you need to spend over 6 billion Rial. They have degraded their currency over the period that they ruled by a factor of something like 500,000. That's the valuation of their currency. As a result, the people are entirely without any hard capital. They have very little. They don't have any water. And things are very tough there. And you see the videos, it's heartbreaking, but hopefully that heartbreak will lead to something new.
Do you see a dialogue happening anytime soon between the protesters and the regime?
The fact that the regime are willing to express their keenness to have dialogue with the protesters really just tells you that this actually might be the final push. This might be the point at which they are so weak that they're even willing to offer this dialogue to try and compromise with the people that are trying to overthrow them. They are ethnic minorities in every direction. They're on the Baluchis and the Kurds, various ethnic minorities that would rather be independent of the Iranian regime, which by itself is kind of a mini empire. So yes, they are willing to express willingness to negotiate, implies that they are especially weak, and really this might be the end. We have to hope so for the people of Iran who have been suffering under that regime for many, many years.
All right, thanks Shaul for now, but do continue to stay on with me as we proceed ahead. Now viewers, some breaking news in fact coming in. Eurostar has advised